Well, hello everybody, and welcome again to another conversation about ABHI's member groups. And today we're going to be talking wound care with Trevor Andrews, who is the commercial strategy manager for L&R Medical in the UK, and he's also currently the vice chairman of ABHI's wound care group. Trevor, thanks for joining us today. I always start this question because people are interested. Just tell us a bit about yourself and your background that's relevant to your work in this area.
Hi, Richard. Good morning. Thanks for inviting me this morning. I've been in the health tech space for about 35 years now. Actually, just over that, in fact. I've been lucky enough to work for some great companies in a nice selection of roles. And that ranges from respiratory companies to critical care companies to audiology companies to now and to wound care companies. As you said, I'm now working for L&R, who are a wound care company, and as you said, I'm the vice chair of the wound care group, which is great fun.
Trevor, just give us a sense then of what is the health tech wound care offer, some of the products and services, the type of things L&R and other companies are involved in.
Yeah, great. That's a really good question. And in fact, if it's okay, Richard, I'll just take one step wider and just talk a little bit about the wound care space in general within that, if that's okay. So, firstly, to the sector, the wider wound care sector in the UK is an incredibly vibrant space. The UK is a world leader in wound care product R&D and manufacturing. There are about 100 companies in the wound care operating in the UK, and two or three of those are of world-class international size, and they have their main footprints here in the UK. And as I say, there's also a number of other companies. All of them have sales, service, distribution, and a lot of them have R&D, and a lot of them have manufacturing here in the UK. So it's a very vibrant space. The space produces some incredibly high-tech innovations. There's both products, high-tech products, high-tech interventions, as well as the more lower-tech interventions that you'd expect, just literally a gauze product. But even a sticky plaster is a wound care product, as you know. So it's a very vibrant space where it employs just under 5,000 people. So it's a significant employer within the UK as well. A little bit, though, perhaps about wound care as well within the healthcare area, because it's somewhat of a bit of an unknown area. Even though wound care involves virtually everything that goes on in healthcare, if somebody goes in for an operation, as an example, they'll need some wound care products. But everybody just expects wound care to work out okay. But unfortunately, wound care doesn't always work out perfectly, and you then need some more interventions. And that's where then there's been some gaps over the recent years in terms of policy. Maybe a couple of stats. Recently published data from a gentleman called Professor Guest and his team. He publishes the best data that we know of in this space. That there's at the moment, this is the latest data, 2017-2018. There's around about 4 million people that are living with wounds right now in the UK. And the cost to the UK is around about 8.3 billion. Of that money, around about 500 million is the products that the members within the wound care group provide and serve, all of those high-tech products. Most of these patients with wounds are cared for in the community teams. It's in the elective space as well, in the acute space, but it's generally in the community where most people with wounds are actually then cared for, and it consumes a significant amount of resource, up to in fact 70% of some community teams' time. But unfortunately, wound care is actually an under-recognised area in terms of policy. It's under-recognised and under-resourced financially, and therefore that has a consequence in workforce. And that probably gives you a hint of some of the stuff that we work on within the wound care group, trying to move some of those things forward. So the group has got 16 members, and we address all of those wide range products that I mentioned. All of them really clever, innovative products, very diverse, highly innovative, and it's a very vibrant group.
Great, thanks, Trevor. That's a really interesting background on the on wound care, and some great sector stats there. I think some of the other groups could do well to borrow from that. You mentioned there's lots going on. You've hinted at some of it. Just give us a flavour what we might expect to see from the group in the months ahead. I know, for example, there is a national wound care strategy, isn't there?
Yes, there is. That emerged out of quite an interesting House of Lords debate, actually, in 2017, where House of Lords got really quite worked up and heated, and that actually kick-started government into generating the National Wound Care Strategy Programme, which is good, and hopefully there'll be then some of the things I mentioned on earlier in terms of perhaps some of the structural weaknesses hopefully will be addressed through this programme. ABHI, the wound care group, is continues to be really involved in the national wound care strategy, which is good. They're a stakeholder, and the best way that they can, they hold the program to account, which is great, along with others, obviously. More recently, I would perhaps categorise our challenges as that. Put it under a theme as as with other people that have contributed to these broadcasts, is that that challenge and that tension between price of a product or value of that the product delivers. That's the thing that we are working on most actively. And recently we've published a very useful infographic where we've summarized some of the work that Professor Guess has done, and which are really detailed technical papers, and simplified it into a one pager, which then enables people to understand the headlines really quickly. And then even more recently, we've co-published some data that the group has put together about the amount of evidence that the wound care world has got to actually say that actually wound care products do work, and how well they work. And within this, these are the things that we've been working on, and will be continuing to keep developing those themes, really trying to describe the value that we deliver, as opposed to, as I say, just that price argument.
Trevor, that's great, fascinating stuff. And what we'll do when this goes out, we'll make sure people have got the links to the infographic you mentioned and some of the other stuff.
Oh, that'd be very useful. Thank you.
Great. And it just leaves me, Trevor, to thank you on behalf of everyone here at ABHI for all the great work you do on our behalf. And we look forward to seeing the wound care group continue to flourish under your leadership and that of others in the months ahead. So thanks once again.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks for inviting us on this morning. All the best.